last fire will rise. The last fire will rise behind those eyes. Black house will rock. Blind boys don't lie. Immortal fear, that voice so clear.
Hello, YouTubers. Long time no see. No, it is not the Ghostface Killer, it's me. Nosphyrus. So, as you can probably tell from the getup, I'm here to talk about Scream. Now, as you all seen in a previous video of mine, I love the Scream movies. I'm a big fan of all three, the whole trilogy, Screams 1, 2, and 3. But as you may know, Scream 4 recently came out. Now, when I heard that Scream 4 could actually be made, I have to admit that I had mixed feelings. I really always loved the original trilogy. To me, they were just a perfect story together. I just wasn't sure I wanted to see the story continue, to be honest. You know, I loved the films, and I was worried that, you know, had they continued on, could very possibly get into, like, the, you know, the Hollywood occurrence where they just keep churning out sequels, and they just get worse and worse, and it really tarnishes the franchise. I was extremely excited that there was going to be a new Scream, even though I was a little tentative about them continuing the story. You know, we had grown to love those characters, and, you know, I kind of just almost felt like they deserved to be left alone. So anyway, that's the first thing about Scream 4 that was kind of cool. All three of the originals came back. There's, of course, Sidney Prescott, the heroine of all three movies. Then, of course, you had Dewey. Now, what I thought was pretty cool this time around, Dewey is now the sheriff of Woodsboro. I thought that was pretty cool. And then, of course, there's Gail, who is now, in fact, married to Dewey, so she's now Gail Riley. So it was really cool to see all three of the main characters that survived the first three movies had returned. Now, of course, in addition to the three that returned, there was also, of course, a new cast. For example, you had the new cops, one of which played by Anthony Anderson. Funny little note there, he had a role in Scary Movie, the spoof of Scream, and is now playing a cop in Scream 4, so I thought that was kind of funny. Also, a little known fact, he was in Urban Legends 2, which is sort of within the same genre. Just a little tidbit. Some of the other important cast. There was also Sidney's cousin Jill. Throughout most of the movie, she was made to seem like she may be the new Sidney, so she was kind of, other than Sidney herself, was kind of like the main target. There was Jill's friend Kirby. No, not that Kirby. That's much better. Yes, there was Jill's friend Kirby, who had sort of a love interest story with one of the other characters. They sort of had like a will they, won't they kind of thing. There was also Trevor. Trevor was the ex-boyfriend of Jill, one of the main characters. So you can they kind of hint that he may be the killer, and he may or he may not. I'm not going to spoil that for you. Then there was also Charlie and Robbie. They were a couple of friends, kind of like actually two new Randys. They were like the Randys for this movie. Robbie actually Robbie always carried around a headset that he used to film everything, and he would put videos up on YouTube. Because it was a new decade, supposedly there were new rules. So the old rules of the Scream killer, the Ghostface Killer, did not necessarily apply. So in other words, virgins aren't necessarily safe. And the main characters, believe it or not, are actually not necessarily safe. So, you know, that means anybody can and may die. And again, I'm not going to give anything away, but you just, you really have to be ready for anything. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is to give my honest opinion of the movie. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to put a spoiler warning, because that'll let you know that in my review coming up, there will be some spoilers. So what I will also do is to put a spoiler ending warning. What I suggest you do, if you've not yet seen the movie, but for whatever reason are still watching my video, I suggest that you mute the video, and then drag the time along until you see the spoiler ending warning. Spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning. Okay, so to give my opinion. To be honest, I really loved it. I thought it was really good. I think one of the things that worried me the most was that if they were going to be bringing back, the three originals, Gale, Dewey, and Sydney, I was worried that it was going to be very difficult for them to do that without either killing one of them off, at least one of them off, or having at least one of them wind up being the killers. I didn't really want to see that happen. I mean, as I've said, we've grown up with these characters, we've grown to love them. I wanted to see them finally, get to live happily ever after. I didn't want to see that happen to one of them. I was very pleasantly surprised. They actually found a way. If you've seen the movie, you know that the three actually ended up surviving. Other than that, I thought it was really great. I mean, it may not be the best, but I mean, you just can't really expect that. I mean, it's the fourth movie. Obviously, it's not going to be the best. But, we are kind of in a new age within Hollywood, where, they can make new sequels when they're not just churning out movie after movie to capitalize on popularity. I mean, it's been, 11 years since the last Scream, so they really waited until they felt it was time, and until they really had a good story and could make it a good movie. About the only real complaint that I would have, now again, big spoiler here, so if you haven't seen the movie, you shouldn't be watching this. The killer, the main killer anyway, ended up being actually Jill, Sydney's cousin. So it's like, here they're playing her off like she's going to be the new Sydney. Hi, Jasper. And turns out to be the killer. Now, her motive as presented in the movie was sort of that after all that Sydney had been through, she kind of became a star. She was like a hero, and this made Jill jealous. She wanted to be the star. She wanted to be the hero. So she saw that she needed to get rid of Sydney in order to be the new Sydney. I thought this was kind of a little weak, to be honest. I thought it was kind of a stupid motive. It didn't really ruin it for me. Like, I still thought it was a good movie. I still thought she made a good, surprising killer. But I just thought they could have developed the motive a little more. I thought it was a little weak the way presented, and it could have just been developed a little more. Spoiler ending warning. Spoiler ending warning. Spoiler ending warning. Okay, so now for my briefer, spoiler-free review. I honestly really loved Scream 4. I would say it's definitely not the best, but it was really good. I really liked it. I guess to sum it up best, what I would kind of say is that Scream 4 didn't have to be made. It didn't really add anything to the franchise. It didn't need to exist. But it didn't tarnish the franchise either, in my opinion. It was a good movie. It was a lot of fun. And to me, as long as it doesn't hurt the franchise, I'd honestly rather see something new than to get nothing at all. One thing that I thought was kind of cool was Ghostface kind of seemed more brutal, like he was really into it, and I liked that. So overall, I would definitely say it's really good. So there you have it, YouTubers. Sorry I haven't been around as much. With the Gizmos website not really working anymore, it's kind of harder for me to put these live action videos together. I kind of don't get as much time to do it.